Welcome to another episode of Invigorate Your Business with George Stroumboulis. Today, I sit down with Tony Kariotis. Tony is a returning guest, and we're going to break down a lot of his social media tactics and strategies on what he's doing to help drive his business. We're going to talk about some of the new content that he's producing, ways to be able to implement it into your business, and we just cover an array of topics in this catch-up episode. So enjoy this episode starting now. My name is George Stroumboulis, and I'm extremely passionate about traveling the world, meeting new people, and learning about new businesses. Join me as I sit down with other entrepreneurs to learn about their journeys. This episode of Invigorate Your Business starts now. We are in Athens, Greece, right? In the center of Athens. What monument is this outside the window? We
have the Temple of Zeus the Olympiad.
I think he just made that up, but no, he knows his stuff. If anyone knows, it's Tony Kariotis. It's amazing. I just got in today. Tony's taking off basically tomorrow, the day after. And we linked up schedules. We're going to go out later, catch up on life. But it's always good to sit down with someone who's, social media expert, someone who's savvy with marketing, has done some really cool stuff in his career so far. The future is yours, right? When it comes to this stuff, and just keep building. So I'm very happy to sit down with you again and just chop it up.
Likewise, bro. Always a great time.
Always a great time.
Yes.
So how long have you been in Greece this round?
This is actually a short trip, relatively speaking. It's about 2 months in right now.
2 months in. Yeah. That's a short trip, right?
Well, the last few years have been like 4, 3, 5. One time I overstayed my visa so much. The guy at the airport, he's like flipping through my passport, trying to find a legitimate date that makes sense.
Yeah.
And he goes, eh? But meanwhile, the day before, I called the airport twice at 2 different times of the day and just asked the same question without a name. They're like, you're going to be fine. Yeah. So I get there. He's flipping through. He goes, when'd you come? And I'm like, June. He goes, it's November. And I'm like, no. I called yesterday. They said, hola, Dax. We're going to be fine. And they're like, that's what they told you? I'm like, yeah. He goes, all right, then go.
Then go, just like that.
Yeah, it was the funniest thing ever.
Try that same discussion in Germany. See how that goes. Here it comes. Yeah, exactly. So what have you don't just come here for pleasure. You come here, you produce content.
Produce content, network like hell, travel around. This year, I actually got my sailing license. That was a lot of fun.
You know what? I wanted to ask you about that. Yeah. So for a decade now, more than that, I've always wanted to make the time to get that.
Yeah.
So what is that?
So I didn't know. I knew it was an idea for this trip because Maria and her mom have like grown up loving the boat industry. They've done all their certifications for all different types, and they're like, we want to get our sailing license. But I got here 2 weeks prior to Maria, I went to Kariotis. I went and saw a friend in Nisyros nearby, then picked her up in Athens, and we usually go up to Kavala and see her family. But the plan was to also go up there and like plan the wedding this year, like meet the wedding planner, get everything in order. But on top of that, she's like, oh, and we're going to go sailing for lessons every day. I'm like, okay, could be fun. So
you had no desire?
No, I was into it.
Okay.
I was into it. So we get there, and like that first morning, I wake up and they're not home. I'm like, they're probably running an errand. But I remember them saying, make sure when you go outside to grab the key, because you could lock yourself out. And to get to the main bathroom, you got to step outside because it's like this mountain style house. So you got to go over here. So I go out there without my phone, and the door just pulls. And I'm like, oh my gosh, oh boy. I am just in like my sleeping attire. I can't go anywhere. If I walk down to the town to ask someone to use their phone, I'm like, no, this is going to be really bad, or some really good PR could happen. And I'm like, oh my God, they may not be back for hours. What am I doing right now? I'm looking around the patio area and I found the spare key. I get back inside. I call them like, where are you guys? And they're like, oh, I told you we're going to go run some errands. But we just met up with the sailing lesson instructor and we're sitting on the boat to talk to him, and we might start now. And I'm like, what about me? I was in on this.
Right.
They're like, well, you didn't say you wanted to like come. And we weren't really like doing the lessons today, but he just so happened to have free time. So he's going to start today. I'm like, well, I want to come. And she's like, she's got the car. So I'm like, I can't even get down. So a 30-minute drive. And she goes, all right, just take a taxi. I get ready. I grab a taxi. I go down to the port. We start, and it was a really, really cool time. Each day we did something different, whether it was doing the sales, doing the parking, dropping anchor. It was really cool.
But wait, when you're done, it's an actual certification?
Yeah, it's a license to rent a sailboat, a 40-foot sailboat.
Do you feel confident
No.
right? Like that's
I'll
a big
answer
deal.
that before. I even told them, I'm like, look, I know I passed the test, the written test, and you're comfortable giving it to me, but you're not. I promise you, I will not rent a boat until I take more lessons.
Stupid question. Is there a motor on there or is it strictly sail?
No, it's a motor and sail.
So
yeah, so you usually got a motor when you're leaving and entering the port, and then if there's no wind, you're gonna need a motor.
Jeez. Yeah. So how many days was the actual course?
It ended up being 7 days.
Wow.
Yeah, a few hours each day. One day was like 5-6 hours. One day was like 2 hours.
Up to 40 feet.
This was a 40-foot sailboat. Yeah, it might have been a 42.
That's a good size.
Oh, it's still a full-size sailboat.
So when I used to live in New York City, I was on the west side, 57th Street. And I think by like 55th Street, right on the water, was the New York Sailing Club. And you'd always see these little boats out there and practicing. And for the 15 years I lived there, I'm like, I'm going to come here and sail. Never did it.
Yeah.
But at least I have something to look forward to, when I retire, maybe. I don't know. But I do want to get involved with that.
For sure.
So talk to me. What's going on business-wise?
Business-wise, things are good. Greece still developing. I think Greece Media is going to be like a ongoing project where I'm never going to really stop thinking of how I can expand it or grow it in different ways, whether it's the marketing department, the citizenship acquisition department. Now we're going to be adding events to Greece Media, which will be like different events in different cities around the world. And the social media part of it is the fun part where I run around, create content, market things in Greece, brands, companies. If I want to go to an island and I have a hotel, for instance, that wants some marketing, we'll stay there. We'll create some cool content for them, encourage people next time they go to, for instance, Santorini, to go to this, check out these guys. They're really nice people. Other than that, just
pushing
gives
different
me a reason to say I have to be in Greece and it's work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you from the state standpoint, like back home, you're in Boston, you share your time between Boston and Florida,
Correct.
right? You're back and forth.
Yes.
In New York in the middle. What are some things that you're working on there? Like, do you use your marketing skills to target clients back home?
In the Greek American market, I do. So if there's, for instance, since we do the marketing and advertising opportunities for people, if there's a Greek brand that is US based or is Australia based that can service or sell this product to the world, then it makes sense to market it.
Absolutely. So since the last time we talked, probably a year ago, when we sat down, November, I think, maybe it was earlier this year.
I think it was somewhere between November and February.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. It was earlier this year. Now we're at the end of the year. We chatted about, AI, ChatGPT, all these tools. And me personally, like less than a year ago, I was like, okay, I would play around with it. Fast forward now where we're at, we use it heavily.
For sure.
Right? Like in our operations right now, the obvious ChatGPT, but I encourage, softly force my team to meeting notes, like throw it through ChatGPT, right? The gist of it, follow up with clients, use that tool. We use Gmail as our platform. So now we even integrated, is it Gemini? I think Gemini's now in the actual browser of Gmail. So it's fully integrated and, it has its pros and cons. Sometimes, it'll elongate messaging and it's just more words than you need. But from a tech standpoint, it is so crucial to what we do. And, even from a marketing standpoint, we've been playing around with, video generated AI and image generated AI. And it's scary. Like I'm officially scared and excited on what you're able to do.
Yeah, it is scary. It's crazy how quickly things are moving. And I remember seeing, Altman, the guy with OpenAI?
Yes.
He was saying how getting from 1.0 to 2.0 was insanely long, insanely difficult. Getting from 2 to 3 was like half the time. 3 to 4 was half the time of that. So now you're using this brain you created to expedite 5, 6, 7, 8. And it's crazy where it's gone. The one part that, for me, that I'm not crazy about is how if you're reading ChatGPT text, you can tell it's ChatGPT text.
Right.
But if you use it for things like give me ideas for this or compare this or what are your thoughts on this, it's got some really, really good, powerful tools. And now I think they just released one that actually thinks.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yes.
Where it's got the ability to go back and...
Absolutely. And what I love about it is it builds a database on who you are, right? So depending on what you ask, good or bad, it knows. Like if you're talking about your company, if you're talking about questions, you're feeding this machine.
But a year ago, it wasn't doing that. It couldn't read. It didn't know anything from other threads.
Yes.
Now it sees all threads at once.
Yes.
That's insane.
Yeah. And if you have your own login, it's insane.
Yeah.
I just saw yesterday what's going on, AI being used in ports. So a lot of my business is commerce product coming internationally to ports. In New York, 3 weeks ago, there was a strike, the longshoremen. Big deal. Everything was just stopped. In China, they've developed the first port in the world, and we got to fact check this, that's 100% operated from machines, robots using AI.
Wow.
So like think of the longshoremen where their job is to take 20 and 40 foot containers, physically lift it up, put it from the ship onto, the dock and all this stuff. It's just this whole community. And while we're doing this, we'll put up the B-roll so the viewers could see. But that's a big deal. And then you have this counter of unions, right? And dealing with unions, striking and more pay and all this stuff, which is fine. Like everyone needs to be their own advocate. But then you have this whole port in China, which is massive. The ports in the United States should be getting very nervous with that type of technology and what it could do in replacing. We're talking hundreds of thousands of positions.
Yeah.
It's insane.
No, it's insane. We're like just a few years away from buying a humanoid bot that just you put in the house, you install the best ChatGPT in it or whatever software you want to use, and you can literally have a conversation with it.
Yeah.
And it'll know everything.
Isn't that scary?
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus affection, people that, want to have conversations and friendships that are to themselves. They think this will be a replacement.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just curious where it's going to go.
And some people are like, okay, well, it will never act and do this like a human. It doesn't matter. Like if I have this thing right here and that thing has all the knowledge for me, I don't want to type and talk to me. Hey, what are your thoughts on this, 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 and this? And it will break it down for me in the most accurate way.
Yeah. But the other side is, what about the kids that are studying nowadays? This just changed the game.
No, it changed it.
It changed the game. Yeah. And then eventually where it's going to go, and I'm not trying to sound like the old person, but well, what's our purpose going to be just from a productivity standpoint?
Yeah.
Obviously, these machines don't have souls and, a heart and can feel emotion. But if all we're doing is feeding it and that's doing the job, there's going to be so many jobs and careers and professions that are just going to be replaced by this.
But it'll create new opportunities.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it might kill off 10,000, but it might create 20,000 that we need people to manage this AI.
Yeah. Just while we're on the technology play, like, have you ever gone to an Amazon supermarket that's unmanned or with no employees?
No. The only Amazon store I went to, and I don't know why they killed it off. Have you ever seen the Amazon 4-star?
No.
So basically, if the product has 4 stars or more on the website, they'll stock it.
Really?
It was the best store ever for gift shopping. One time we went to the mall and I was like, Amazon 4-star, this is cool. Let's walk in. I banged out all the family gifts on one trip because they have the best items.
In Boston, like proper?
This was in Massachusetts, yeah.
Okay.
It was, and 2 years later, we would go back for the same thing, Christmas time. And Amazon decided to close off all their retail stores. That was the best retail store to ever exist.
Jeez.
You didn't have crap. Everything in there, people have bought and like.
I've never heard of that store. Yeah. So anything that was 4 stars or more, they would stock it.
Yeah.
Interesting. I was in DC last week. I was with my business partner, and on the way to our meeting, I needed coffee, right? I just red eye, I needed coffee. Starbucks, pull over. I asked the Uber driver and my partner, I'm like, hey, can you guys just wait? I'm going to run in quick. I run in, go up to the counter. Could I get a double espresso over ice? And the lady behind the counter does like sign language to me. And then she points to a stack of like digital type chalkboards. And I didn't understand what she was saying. And then I saw someone else. I'm like, excuse me, could I order a coffee? And the lady behind me, she goes, this is a 100% deaf operated Starbucks. Oh, I go, what does that mean? She goes, everyone here is deaf. And the only way to place an order is you have to write down your order on these boards and they read it unless you know sign language. I'm like, I don't know sign language. So I write down espresso over ice, tall cup. She processes it. And then the whole time now I'm just so intrigued.
Yeah.
But it's just something. Have you ever seen this?
No, I haven't seen that yet.
So I'm sitting there and now I'm just looking at it. And it wasn't like 1 or 2 employees that were deaf. Yeah. It was 7 different employees that are, working this location. And then they had lights. So typically a door would open in a restaurant and you'd hear like a chime or a bell.
Yeah.
The door would open. The light would just flash. They had it right there. So if they're making a drink, they turn around, they know someone's there. It was just the coolest experience. Got the drink. They were very polite. I asked her, how do I say thank you? She showed me. Now, that process probably took 3 times longer than just going through a regular Starbucks. So not to sound like an asshole, cool experience, definitely want to support. I think that's great. But if I'm in a rush and I know that's the store, I personally wouldn't go back if I'm in a rush because it just took longer.
Yeah.
But such a cool concept.
Yeah, that is a cool concept.
Right?
Yeah.
So just bouncing around different stuff. What have you seen in Greece this summer that's changed since last summer?
A lot.
So geographically, I mean, like,
no, this is
structurally.
I'm excited to talk about this.
Yeah.
Lots of new. They've done a better job fixing like the streets, not necessarily the street, but better information for tourists, like crossing areas, and it feels like they're making the streets a lot safer for tourists. Right. That's one. A ton more new hotels and Airbnbs are being put up everywhere. Everywhere. What else? One thing I didn't like, I went down to a beach that I love going at least once or twice a year, and it seems like they've upscaled it, but this beach wasn't designed for that. It was like a family atmosphere. Yeah. And I went by, and it's usually like 5-6 euros to get in, no big deal. And then I go there, and they're like, "Oh, it's 15 now." I'm like, "Oh, it went up this year?" And she goes, "Come back in like 30 minutes. It's free at 5." And I'm like, all right, I walked across the street, got some souvlaki. I went back, and then you go inside, and it lost its like, the vibe.
Yeah,
it's
totally.
It's too commercialized. And I'm like, this place stinks now.
You know, that's become a big issue in general. Greece, so many new hotels, so many Airbnbs, luxury Airbnbs. Today, I landed 6 hours ago, Athens airport, packed, still in October.
Yeah.
Like, it blew my mind.
It is still getting the tourists. However, I did hear, and I went to check the shit. I didn't go there for that, but I went to Mykonos for the first time in like 3 years. Apparently, they took a hit this year.
Yes.
Like a 20% hit.
They took a hit. And then the car rental company today, I won't say the name because I don't know if this is negative or not.
Put them on blast. No.
Yeah, put on blast. Yeah, 6. Like, who cares? I'm talking to the guy that brings the car to me, and I remember him when I see him often. And I go, "Hey, Tonomasu." He's like, Spiro, I think it was. I go, "Hey," it's packed, lineups everywhere. He goes, "Dude, it's busier than it was in August."
Yeah.
I go, "So how do you measure like per rentals per month?" He goes, "Per day in August, they have just over 100 rentals per day in August." He goes, "In October right now, it's over 200.
Wow.
I go, "That's crazy. Like, this doesn't make sense."
More people just decided to not come when the tourists are here, I guess.
Well, I could tell you from my own circle, I have a little cousin in Toronto that's on her honeymoon right now in Greece in October. We have friends who are just American, no connection to Greece, that are on cruises right now coming. It's a great time of year to come. It seems like it's all year round now, tourism.
Yeah, it's becoming all year round for sure because it's beautiful in the winter. If I had to guess, the low point is probably, I don't know, February, March. Right before the season's starting again.
Yeah. But there's skiing here. There's so many other things.
Yeah, for sure.
The development is crazy though. And it's just the pricing is getting insane. So this past summer, talking 2024, the same hotels I've stayed at in the past, and I feel like I'm just complaining about this, but every 6 months, it's like another 15% more, 15% more. It's gotten insane.
Yeah.
Hotels that used to cost $200 3-4 years ago are now flirting with like that 1,000+ mark.
Yeah. I know everything's doing that. The ferry tickets are insanely going up every year.
Yeah.
Even it used to be where like if you're going from an island to an island that's 40 minutes away, it's a cheap ticket, 10 euros. Even those are full price now, 60, 70 euros.
Oh, absolutely.
With Sea Jets, they're just full flat rate. No matter you get on the boat, you're paying the full price.
You'll appreciate this because you're connected here. A ferry, which is always supposed to be your down and dirty. I was excited, fun experience with my daughters. Book a ferry Athens to Naxos and return with a car. It was 1,000 euros. It was just under 1,000 euros. And I'm like, 1,000 euros?
That's insane.
Insane. So I sat there, I booked it, and then we got closer, and it was like a 5-hour ferry or 4 and change. And I'm like, let me just go on Aegean and see. And I go on Aegean or Skyjet or whatever the other one is. And there and back was 1,200 euros flying. There in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? I couldn't bring my car. So I ended up doing it. I'm like, screw that. Like the ferries have officially surpassed.
Yeah. Wait, it doesn't make sense anymore.
It doesn't make sense.
Unless you have to bring the car.
Yeah.
Or if you don't care and you don't care about the 3-4 hours and you're like, getting to the airport's annoying, then you hop on the boat.
Yeah, then you hop on it. Talk about helicopters. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, there's now hopping with a helicopter. There's a company that I do some work with called Flyhopper. And if you want to go to like a Santorini or a Dinos or whichever locations that they have available so when I used to look up the prices just for curiosity for helicopters, it used to be like $4,000 for like a 30-minute lift, and they're doing tickets between like $300-400
per person.
Yeah. Which is reasonable.
Yeah.
If you're paying CJet's $100 and you're paying a G and $150, you get a private ride and you're there in under 40 minutes.
We just price checked before we started chatting now, and to go to Costa Navarino, which is on the western side of Peloponnese. So you need about 3 hours to drive there from Athens. So 3 hours, 6 hours there and back.
Yeah.
Right? Which, again, it's fun.
Right.
But you can get there in like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was $800 for 2 people.
Yeah.
Right? So it came way down.
Yeah.
What's Hopper? H-O?
Flyhopper, but with 1 P. Flyhopper.
Flyhopper, okay. Because you hope you get there? I don't know. Bad advertising.
I'm taking a flight tomorrow. Don't put any thoughts in my head.
Oh, gee. No, you'll be fine. Just, insurance policy for your fiance, right?
Jesus Christ.
No, that's good. So you're flying back to Boston on Wednesday.
Wednesday, I'm going back to Boston. We have a direct flight, which is great. Yeah, going to go back to Boston, reset. We're going to get started with these networking events that we've scheduled out.
Yeah.
We have one coming up in Boston end of the month. Then we're going we'll go to New York and then Fort Lauderdale. We have Tampa on the schedule, but with the hurricane and all, we may postpone it.
Right.
And then we're coming out west to see you.
Okay.
We're going to LA and Silicon Valley in January.
And Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to be huge.
Yeah.
So the purpose of that is what? What are you trying to achieve?
Trying to just build community, an opportunity for Greeks and non-Greeks. It's not like you show us your Greek card to come in.
Right.
Get together, do some business networking, expand your parea, your community. It'll be a nice way to showcase Greek restaurants because each time we'll use a different taverna. So everybody wins, and we'll do a portion of it's going to go to charity. I've teamed up with Humanity Greece.
Okay.
They're a crisis relief charity organization here in Athens. They have their headquarters basically like a food bank where they prepare supplies and food for once crisis hits. They're prepared to help families.
That's excellent. No affiliation like Red Cross. Like this is separate on its own.
Yeah, it's on their own. I stopped by there to say hello when I first got here this year. I went by last year and they're like, oh, hi, join that group right there. They're preparing vegetables. Go slice some carrots. So it wasn't your typical, like you go in and you see people in suits and paperwork and this, we're sending money here. We're doing this here. No, these were people with aprons preparing for the real world.
Yeah.
And right away, I'm like, all right, these are the people I want to do this with.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's absolutely great.
Yeah.
What type of crises? It's like fires?
Yeah, they help with the fires. I think the fires has been the main thing. But any opportunity they have to help, they'll be ready for it. But the crisis is once the fires and also the severe flooding that happened last year.
Yeah.
They were on top of it right away. I remember watching their stories and they just were loading the vans, driving up to northern Greece where the highway was shut down. Yeah. And yeah, they were on it pretty quick.
That's great, man. Yeah. That's exciting. Total side note, I know you're a big Boston guy. Yeah. I was watching a new documentary on Netflix.
Starting 5.
Did you see it?
I put it on last night in my Airbnb.
Yeah, download it for your flight.
Yeah, I watched Tatum. 3 episodes last night.
Dude, it was great.
Yeah. You watched the whole thing or no?
No. I think there's 9 episodes. I have 2 left.
Okay, so you're ahead of me.
It was incredible. Yeah. And honestly, I always think just sports athletes in general, they're spoiled, they're this or that. Man, you see through this, like deaths in the family, struggle, no father present, dealing with the sick mother. And then you're like, wow, like Tatum. Yeah. New respect for this guy. Yeah, what a good dude.
And at the same time, like I've been a LeBron hater my whole life, but like you see like the family side of it. I'm like, this guy's has to be a good dude. But then you hear people that actually know, oh no, he's not a good dude. I don't know. Documentaries help. They help because we create our own stories for the athletes.
Totally.
Like there's no reason to hate Tatum. And I'm saying that because I'm a Boston fan. But Now everyone else is seeing it.
No, and you know what? Like, here's the thing. Side note, LeBron James produced this with Uninterrupted, so they're going to put the best story forward.
Yeah.
I'm a LeBron hater in general as well.
All right, good.
But honestly, after watching, and maybe this is how fickle I am, after watching, you're like, dude, he came from nothing, from like the ghetto, and what he did and where he's at today, and then the time he puts into his kids, and he's, you know, not pressuring him and supporting him, and then he starts talking about his son who had cardiac arrest.
Died,
You know, it's just like, wow.
And I truly believe, like, I judge a person based off how their family talks about them, and their it seems like they just adore the guy.
Oh, absolutely. And that's a good point. His wife said a statement where I'm like, man, that's powerful. And you're getting married soon, right? So you'd appreciate this. She said, yep, we like him being like the big star. It's all about him. That's great. She goes, I have hard work too here. And then LeBron said, he goes, I wouldn't be who I am if she didn't let me, without the nagging or whatever. She knows I want to be great. And I'm up here and she brings me down. It was just so nice seeing like the spouse.
And you could tell that they're each other's number one fan. And that's important.
Totally. And you hear rumors LeBron doing this, like that, who cares? Like,
but he's never had any off-court issues. And I'm a big LeBron hater. Yeah. But he's never really had off-court issues.
It's true. Yeah. It's true. And he's bringing his people. The biggest thing I love is he brings his homies from day one.
Like Rich Paul.
Yeah. And who's the other guy that, Rich Paul's the
agent.
Maverick. Is that Maverick, Rich Paul?
Maverick Card is the other guy.
Yeah. Like all his guys are in his business and he brought them with him. Right? It's a cool thing.
And that's rare.
And that's rare.
That's very rare.
But even Tatum, he says it in. He goes, his mom at 18 years old, spring break, had an affair or like slept with a guy. She got pregnant and dad wasn't existent. You know what I mean? You hear that story and it's like, wow, that's why he's such a good father. Total side note, but it was just...
No, I was meaning to watch it, and the Airbnb I was in a couple days ago, the lady's like, oh, I have Netflix too on the TV if you want to watch TV. Yeah. I'm like, you know what, I'm going to order takeout and watch the starting five.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, back to this. You said you've been doing a lot of networking, right? Yes. Yeah, which is so important. Tonight, which we're going to have to cut this episode short, we're doing some networking. Yes. Again, flew in today. Tony and I chatting, hey, are you going to be in town here? I'm glad you asked. And it's like, yeah, I'm actually going to overlap. And then because I'm only here for 2-3 days, it's like, hey, I need to meet with a lot of people just to connect. Yeah. So tonight we have probably 8 to 10 people just coming.
That's awesome.
From different worlds, right? Former ambassador, designer, social media, marketing. Yeah. And it's like a couple hours, we all get together, we network. Something good always comes out of this.
Always. There's always... Good always comes out of stuff.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, so this is going to be a quick one. It's good to connect, and we're always going to have recurring discussions and
for sure
touch base, man. You've been growing. What else is coming on your social platform? Like, what are you seeing like success?
That's a good question. I haven't, because I've been so like locked into the stuff on this trip. I haven't taken a step back to assess that.
Yep.
But going to continue growing. Everything that you see, I'm just going to keep trying to amplify. I got to bring back more Apagorevete. I took a break from it. I need to bring that back.
Yeah. And when you have a big following, right? Again, refresher for the listeners, we're talking hundreds of thousands of followers, tens of millions of views across all platforms.
I had the most viral video of my page's career that happened this summer. It wasn't Apagorevete. You know which one?
Was it the wine one?
Yeah.
Dude,
I've had 23 million views on that video.
23 million views.
On just one video.
Do you know, I watched that one like 20 times because it was just the hook was so funny. Yeah. So while we're talking about it, we're going to put it up from your page.
For sure. And look, full transparency, it wasn't an original thought. It's one of those videos where like everyone creates their own version.
Of course,
but really, really cool moment. Maybe the most famous person to date that's commented on a piece of content of mine happened on that.
Who?
NBA Hall of Famer, Dwayne Wade.
I did see that. Yeah. No, and what did he's a big wine guy,
He's a big wine guy, so it made sense. And he was in Europe, and I know the way the algorithm works, it'll push it to people in the area. He may have even been in Greece, because that was around, I don't know if he was at Yanni's wedding or not.
He was in Navarino.
He was at it?
Yeah.
So maybe that's why it came up. So maybe LeBron saw it too. I don't know.
Because he was there.
Yeah, and he saw it. But yeah, Dwayne Wade, he left a laughing emoji. And I was like, oh my gosh. Dwayne. And I don't get starstruck on stuff, but that one like threw me off.
Yeah, Dwayne Wade's like, let's go. What over 20 million
it's
sets
at 23
of
actually, no. Add another 10 million that happened on the other platform. So it's at like 35 million.
That's the most you've ever received
on one particular video? No. Yes and no. It's with me in the video, it's the most. I had this other video of this like beach scene. For some reason, Instagram just pushed it to the world. It got 70 million views.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And what was in that one?
All it was just the waves hitting the thing, and it just said, share this with someone that you want to go to Greece with or something.
And that got 70.
Yeah, it just got a ton of views. Everyone was pressing the share button.
So what have you seen from your experience? For every 10 million views that you get, how many new followers would you get? Is there an algorithm that...
There's not an exact number, because some videos can go super viral, but they won't generate much follows for the user. If it's just one of those videos where like, okay, that's really funny, but like, there's no reason to follow this person. But then if it's something where like you're present in the video, you made the person laugh, they see, okay, this could be a useful follow. I think that video probably brought in, I don't know, like 3,000 people.
That's significant though, right?
But there's also a bad part to that. Now the algorithm percentages, they have no relationship with you. So the next time they see your content in 2-3 days, they're probably going to skim by it.
Yep.
So now the algorithm's saying a lot of people are skipping by his stuff. So now for like the next week, my content was just flopping.
Yep.
So I'm like, it has to be that there's a lot of new eyeballs that Instagram's sending it to rather than my familiar eyeballs. They're just like, whatever. I followed him because I saw that one video. Just keep skipping. And for like the next week, I was getting like horrible numbers.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I never understood. Obviously,
the algorithm's its own brain.
It's its own brain.
AI. It's stupid.
But people that I follow, or even like ESPN or stuff that I follow, I'll go back sometimes and I'll see it. And I'm like, shit, I didn't even know I still follow this page. I haven't seen content in forever.
And that's what stinks is like you spend all this time building a community of followers that genuinely want to see your product, your content. And now with these new algorithms, let's say I follow you, right? And Instagram can decide one day, we're not going to show Tony George's content anymore.
Yeah.
But I signed up to see your content. But you have to like go in and buy an ad that says send this to my followers. Come on now.
So that's what they're pushing ultimately.
I don't know. It's either that or they're pushing more organic reach for, I think they're trying to make an effort to help new creators that are just starting out get views. But you're going to sacrifice the relationship you have with all the people that have been loyal for you for 10 plus years?
Right.
Just because the new kid needs views?
I'm convinced, again, there's obviously big followings out there, but I'm convinced unless you're paying for their advertising, like that's their ultimate goal.
Right.
Oh, pay to play and do that.
Yeah, and then I get it. Instagram's free. So it's the most powerful tool. I can be in front of everyone's face every day for free. Okay, then tell me, pay if you want everyone to see it. Yeah. If you make it black and white, this is what it's going to cost for most of your followers are active to see it. Yeah. I will pay it.
Yeah, exactly.
But they don't say that anywhere.
No.
So like I might buy the ad, it still might not get to you. So make it clear.
Yeah, clear. And then as a marketer, right, if you're trying to promote other brands and services, do you just pay the ads and do that? And then you got to get an influencer to do it. It's like it's a whole...
And then they created this new algorithm pitch that they're trying to help, which is amazing. It's designed to hinder accounts that all they do is repost other people's work. So if they see that, let's just say, use my wine video, for example. If a few other Greek pages that don't post original content decide to share it, they claim that they won't go viral. It won't be shared. It won't go to Explore. It won't this because it'll detect that they're sharing yours. I don't know if it's started yet. The head of Instagram came out and said, this is what we're doing. But I still see these aggregate pages going viral. So.
Right. And it's impossible to know if it's been shared, right? If someone reuses it.
The software exists to detect it. Okay. TikTok is on point with it. If you post anything that has been posted already, they will not allow it to go to the For You page and instantly detect it. So Instagram can do it.
But they
claim they started. On that particular video, I have got notifications saying that we're recommending this one over others that have posted it. But I saw others that are posted, they're just mini accounts, 100 people. This is right. I want to see if a mega page shares it, are they going to go viral? And if they do,
what's the point? If you're just resharing.
If you're going to claim that we're stopping that now, then do it.
Yep.
Then do it.
Absolutely. Talk to me, because we got to bounce.
Yeah.
Your podcast.
Yes.
Grease Chats.
Grease Chats
Obviously,
podcast.
Traveling. It's been...
Yeah, usually I shut it down June, and I pick it back up, I don't know, November when I'm comfortably back home. So I'll get some new episodes going this November. Grease Chats podcast. You can find it on my Instagram page. Just go to I am Grease or at Grease. So now, one other thing I've left out. So obviously I have at Grease on Instagram, but now have it on TikTok as well.
Oh yeah. How did you get that?
So someone basically hit me up and said, hey, I know you're the owner of at Grease. Would you like it on TikTok too? I thought he was going to try to scam me for a few bucks. We worked out a deal. It was over with.
Just like that. Yeah. What was it before?
He just had it and there was no post on it. I guess he got lucky to get it and he was trying to get rid of it.
That's huge.
Yeah, but I got it, but I have not started developing yet just because TikTok's algorithm's gotten a little tough where even if I'm reposting my own content from the other pages, it'll detect it and still not share it that well. So I need to come up with a new strategy for it. Maybe give it like a persona. Maybe there it's like, I don't know, me talking about Grease stuff or something.
Right. Something different.
Something that's designed just for TikTok. Rather than just taking the video I put on at Grease Instagram, put it on at Grease TikTok. They may not like that anymore.
Yeah, man, you know the science to it, where you see so many things out there where people are paying for followers, they're paying for views, they're paying for all this stuff. Yeah. And the comment, it just doesn't add up.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you don't even know what you see, but that's how fickle we are, right? I had a conversation earlier with someone just about restaurants, how people are slowing down going to Yelp for reviews and they're just going for the places and going to Instagram. And just because someone posted, oh, this is the best, we're starting to use that as our reviews.
Right.
Even though it's like paid.
Yeah. Do you leave Yelp reviews?
I've never left a Yelp review in my life. I wanted to on one place because it was such a bad experience.
Okay.
But I don't. Yeah, I've never done it.
I've never done it either. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Because part of me is like, I ain't no snitch. I'm not trying to, but sometimes they should know.
Sometimes they should.
You should know.
Yeah, snitches
part
get
of me
stitches.
is like, you know what? Look, it might have sucked, but like, I'm not going to do that to you.
No.
I guess sometimes it could have just been like, it could just be the small young couple that's just struggling.
See, and that's what I think it is. The other side of it is if you leave a bad review versus just telling them in person, like you got to be just a dick.
Yeah.
For me to want to get fired up. If it was like the food was crap or it was undercooked and they just had a crappy attitude, I would want to. I still wouldn't, because then I just don't want my name on the internet associated with like, oh, George was being a bitch here and didn't like his chicken parm because, you know what I mean? So
it took too long or something.
I just don't, because that lives out there forever.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, guess what? We're in Greece. It's supposed to take a while.
Exactly.
One other thing before we hang up on this. There is one other topic I want to talk about, and it's what is going on with the Greek language in Greece. All they do is speak English now, but they're speaking Greek when they speak English.
So give an example.
You'll hit someone up. Hey, you want to meet up Wednesday? They'll call you back. And file, αυτή τη εβδομάδα είμαι full.
Exactly.
And I'm like, you couldn't just say, like, there's another way you can say, like, why do you think
totally?
And then they make fun of us for using
Gringlish.
Yeah. I'm like, you just called me and said, sorry, bro.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And then you're going to make fun of me?
Yeah. I use Gringlish because I forget that Greek word and I have to throw it nine times out of 10.
But there's one Greek word that even Greece adopted as a Gringlish word. And I'll let you try to guess it. It's not an original Greek word, but I think this one was like the first one that probably happened back in the 50s. And now everyone just assumes it is a Greek word.
Oh, geez. Give me a hint.
I did this thing when I got here today to this spot with my car.
Parkares. Yes. Yes.
Parkarismo. Parkaro. To parkisma.
Yeah, you're right. That is one.
So the real word is I was talking about it last night with a friend.
Stathmo something.
Yeah. It starts off with STA. So if there's a hard Greek word, I feel like they've adopted the English word.
Totally.
Like signomi takes like 3 syllables. So now they like saying sorry.
Sorry,
sorry, bro.
Well, 10, 15 years ago, when I was way younger, they would do it just to flex on, hey, I know my...
No. But now it's like it's part of them speaking every day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm like, bro, you just said, you're talking Greek, but you used all English words. And then you make fun of me.
Well, yeah. And then the texting and the writing with the younger generation, everything is like, they don't finish the sentence. They don't finish the word. Yeah, lol. Like
or like, pare metil.
Yeah, they wouldn't even say pare. It's like,
paretil.
Yeah, it's
paretil for pare telefono.
Call me, yeah.
And then my favorite is when people like read out acronyms. They're like umidzi. You ever hear that one? Umidzi. It's great. Like at the end of the day, it's all just for fun. But just don't make fun of our English.
Don't make fun.
If you guys are saying sorry, bro, ime full.
Yeah.
Like come on.
As long as you're trying. Yeah, it's funny, man.
Yeah, I wonder what words are coming next here.
Exactly. Well, it's English. I mean, on average, your average Greek who's in their 20s, 30s, they speak fantastic English.
They do.
Right? Compared to other European nations.
Correct.
Like Italy's very hard. The youth, they don't speak English. Spain, the same thing.
Back in the 90s, they started making an emphasis on teaching the English language here. And people speak it really well.
Absolutely. And it's such a small country. 11 million people, you have to speak English to survive.
For sure.
That's it. Tony, on a future episode, we'll talk about politics, political aspirations. That's for another.
Yes.
Awesome, man.
Apagorevete.
For. Awesome, man. Let's go have some drinks.
Let's go have fun tonight.
All right, man.
Epitrepete.
There you go.
There you go. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure, brother.
We'll talk soon.
Absolutely. And we'll figure out what the monuments are across the street.
Yes. No, it was. It's, I was right.
I'm going to show a view out there and just see. I think you're right. If anyone knows, it's going to be you.
It is.
Okay.
It is.
Awesome, man. Let's go.
All right.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Invigorate Your Business with George Stroumboulis. Please hit the subscribe and like buttons and follow me on all the main podcast streaming channels. Also, please share your comments when you can. I appreciate your help in expanding this network to a worldwide audience. Until next time, stay invigorated.